So before we get into all the news today, I had to show you this. About 48 hours ago, Russians decided to send a couple $2 million cruise missiles into this purely residential building, murdering 24 people, mainly women and kids. And Russia's doing this all over the country every day. Most of it's not making it to Western news anymore. And you're sitting there out in Toledo or Cincinnati, I understand. You go, what the hell's Ukraine got to do with me? Well, I'll tell you what it's got to do with you. Ukraine is the razor's edge on which two potential futures sits. Two potential futures for the world. A world of authoritarian kleptocracy, backed by Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, a growing list of African countries that Russia has been implementing coups within, very resource rich. Might makes right. Showing China the example that you can just wander into a resource rich country, take what you like, add those resources to your war machine, move on to the next country. Everything in Ukraine will all be mobilized for larger war on Western civilization. Who is the target? What's the main obstacle? Who is that beacon, that shining light of freedom, the example for which the entire world has used as the model of a democratic world, freedom, innovation? The US is the real target. The US is the obstacle. And they've set up a memorial here. The bear you see in that photo is this bear here.
This newly emboldened coalition, All Enemies of Democracy, we have 2 weeks after the Alaska summit, Putin referred to as His Excellency, and having a red carpet rolled out for him by U.S. troops, is now at another summit, a very different summit, a coalition of all enemies of the U.S. gathering in China. It started yesterday, Putin on a 4-day trip. This morning, Modi, the Prime Minister of India, held Putin's hand, and as they walked into the meeting, I personally think, I know that in reality, Putin is being used. Russia's GDP is only 1.8% of global GDP now, as opposed to 14% that the USSR represented. It's really that sort of contrast, and a lot of this older generation thinks that Russia is the USSR and the USSR is Russia. It couldn't be more different. But these guys are very aware of it, and I honestly think that they're just using Russia as the battering ram to smash up the West, with the intent that maybe the West will be exhausted and Russia will be exhausted, and this will give both China and India, especially China, lots of maneuverability in order to grab tasty gas and oil fields. And not only that, just Lake Baikal alone has 20% of the world's unfrozen fresh water. These guys want to make moves, and they are lucky enough to have this psychopathic monster running Russia right now that can probably make all their dreams come true. So they can just give him just enough, buy his oil, offer deals with increasingly worse terms. You have what I think this summit is really about is 4 days in which Russia and India will begin to build debt. They'll offer help in a variety of capacities, but in the end, it's about building debt that will be collateralized with Russian natural resources. And when Russia's military is sufficiently worn down and the Russian people are maybe not so happy about it, maybe there's some pitchforks and things, I think China and India will definitely be making some moves. I mean, why wouldn't they? They are strategically thinking. Trump is thinking about the Nobel Prize, and Putin's thinking about survival. All very different time horizons. Speaking of Russia being emboldened, this is wild. This is like an hour ago. The plane Ursula von der Leyen was forced to land in Bulgaria due to suspected Russian GPS interference. There are reports that the pilots even had to use paper maps due to GPS jamming as they made the emergency landing. Bulgaria has confirmed the incident and added that since February 22, a significant increase in GPS jamming and spoofing has been observed. Russia has been trying to crash commercial planes, not only with explosives, the DHL planes, en route from Germany to Canada, from Lithuania to Canada. About a year ago, it's not only that, but GPS interference. They've been trying to crash commercial planes because these are the things that Russia does. It's a terrorist state. It won't make sense to you sitting out there in, in Hawaii or whatever. But this is what Russia is. Don't try to make sense of it. It's purely a terrorist state. And the underbelly of Russia, the economic underbelly, is only continuing to deteriorate. I'll just read it to you. While Putin puts on a good face in China, Russia's fuel crisis continues to spiral, with lines for all grades of gasoline now spreading to every region of the country. Russians are increasingly upset about having to spend a week's pay in order to fill up a gas tank. And when you want that gas, you can't even get it. These people have been in line all day. A lot of times you get to the end and you can't even get the gas. This is in Khabarovsk Krai, which is really, it's closer to the U.S. than it is to Ukraine. This is way over by the Pacific Ocean. Yeah, it just gets worse and worse for the Russian terror state. Just more photos here of we have no gas at any price. It just continues to get worse and worse. And not only that, the Russians are doing the most Russian thing in the world. They are now producing counterfeit gas. Russia's fuel crisis descends into hilarity as counterfeit gasoline floods the market, now destroying car engines. The poor Russians are really reaping the whirlwind. I mean, this is... Okay, look, this guy tries to start his car. But the gasoline was counterfeit. Oh, it sucks to suck. It does. Well, get used to it. They'll be drinking cologne by Christmas, as they were in the 1990s. But thank God for Ukraine. Ukraine doing what the West absolutely refuses to do, is to do whatever it takes to take down the Russian terrorist state. We've got something is going on in Crimea right now. With Crimea now lacking any credible air defenses, Ukraine is obliterating Russian occupiers, ships, Russian helicopters, ships, radar arrays. More footage from Ukrainian military intelligence from yesterday's early morning hours. And it looks like we can pretty much take out anything we want down there now. They take out 2 helicopters right here. This is just Crimea, which is arguably more of a protected airspace than Moscow. Losing Crimea would be a bigger hit to Putin's war, to his PR machine, than Bryansk or Kursk. And thus it is more protected. We took out a couple helicopters and this ship here. So it's, who knows what's, our drone technology hasn't changed that much, right? But something is going on here. But then yesterday's film was really wild. It's another film that came out from Ukraine's military intelligence, HUR. This is pretty wild. So with Russia's air defenses now all allocated to defending Putin's palaces, Ukraine is now casually selecting which elements of the Russian war machine they like to destroy, now seemingly focusing on readying Crimea for missile strikes. These aren't normal. Just take a look at this. Some of these radar arrays are like what you have in Arizona to comb the galaxy for, extraterrestrial life. This is yesterday. I'm not a radar guy. There's a list of all the radars that were taken out, and it's ridiculous. Outgoing air defense, futility defined, small arms fire. And look at this thing. Look at the size of this next to the building. It's bigger than the building. Whatever it is, it's not cheap. And this thing, I mean, this is like ET. I mean, I did look this one up, and it's for Russian space travel. This, I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 of these things, whatever they are. And then sort of a normal radar array here. And then I know what this is. This is an S-400. That's the most expensive air defense system. Is the radar unit for it. So they are readying this place. They're blinding Crimea. And it's very interesting where this might go. And it's interesting that we're just able to hit anything we want now. Not only oil refineries, but all this other stuff. This is pretty wild. This is from yesterday. First, I want to show you the map so you understand where this strike by Ukraine was. Way up here by Estonia. I mean, we're heading up, into the Arctic circles. Like begins like up here. So our drones had to go through all of this, quote, protected Russian airspace. All the way up here to Pskov. Yeah. And what we did there was pretty awesome. This is an IL-76. It's one of these massive transport aircraft. 2 passes. First one looks like destroyed. And then a central strike as the Russians flee. So I don't know what's going on now, you guys, but things are getting crazy. I mean, we were just taking out anything we want. Russian corporate front, boy. Now this is a story. So this is the largest oil company in Russia, Rosneft. This is they employ like 150,000 people. It is absolutely massive. When the Yukos was stolen from its previous owner in the early 2000s, and Putin did this fake auction and basically gave it to a little consortium of things that he owns through his cronies. Rosneft was one of the primary beneficiaries of that. And at that time, that was the largest oil company in the world. Yukos was at that time. So earnings at Russia's largest oil company, Rosneft, collapsed down 68% in the first half. This is before the strikes on Russia's refinery archipelago began. So you have to understand that, I mean, this is only up to June. So all that, I mean, all the capital expenditure, everything that they're going to have to invest, let alone all the lost revenue, this is, well, maybe you say, oh, well, that's just one quarter. Look, this is a trajectory. This is first quarter 2024. Already for the first half of this year, before the refinery strikes, are down 80%. An 80% decrease in earnings at one of the absolute largest companies in Russia. And this company, if you had a beating heart of the Russian economy, it would be Rosneft. Things are only getting worse. And here's more strikes on Crimea. Crimea is not having a good weekend. In addition to the 2 Russian oil refineries currently burning in Krasnodar and Syzran, aviation fuel depots in Russian-occupied Crimea have joined the party. Airport area, Sevastopol, Ukraine. This is just more and more. Yeah, well, and it's not only radar arrays and ships and helicopters and aircraft that Ukraine is hitting. It is also, in refineries, it is pipeline infrastructure. Ukraine's general staff announces the successful strike on another location of Russia's fuel infrastructure. Overnight, units of the Defense Forces of Ukraine carried out a comprehensive fire strike on the linear production station in the area of the settlement of Netopovichi in Bryansk, in the Bryansk region of the Russian hellscape. The station pumps diesel fuel through main petroleum product pipelines, including for the needs of Russian occupying forces. The pumping capacity of this facility is around 10.5 million tons per year. Wow. And the strike itself was pretty spectacular. 2 separate strikes. And how is the Russian government dealing with this? They have many tools to deal with keeping the public in line, but they are losing these things bit by bit. Viewership at Russian propaganda outlet our YouTube collapses, announces mass layoffs. I don't know if you remember, but our YouTube was supposed to be the great white savior of the to keep them Russians off of Western video sites like YouTube. Our YouTube, Russia's state-backed video platform and the Kremlin's preferred alternative to YouTube, is undergoing mass layoffs as viewership creators and its parent company Gazprom Media struggles to justify the platform's ballooning costs. Yeah, another element of Putin's propaganda archipelago is not having a good time. The other one they're doing now, which will also fail miserably. This is funny. Russians don't want to install the government's new messenger software, Max, that openly feeds all user data to security services. So loudspeakers are reminding them every 10 minutes. This is in Penza and deep in Putin's hellscape. I'll just play this. And this girl, you know, a lot of these Russians have sort of a free mindset, you know. I mean, they're seeing this whole thing just blow up. Not many, some. And then at the end of the series of messages, they tell you have to install this new messenger app. You must install. Let's skip to the end here. Install Max Messenger. And it's every 10 minutes to remind the savages to get in line and download that KGB software. It is just hilarious what Russians will put up with, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, that's last story here. Norway. Now, this is yet more fallout from the West's failure to defend Ukraine. Norway cancels plans for the purchase of U.S. ships after seeing the Trump admin turn off Ukraine's weapons abilities remotely. Orders $13.5 billion in UK-built ships. You know, yeah. I mean, when it comes time to defend yourself, if the American electorate is once again bamboozled into, you know, voting in a guy like this, then who knows what could happen? You know, you won't be able to defend yourself. Just as the Trump administration turned off Ukraine's intelligence in order to force them to come to Putin's demands, which they never did. And I mean, he always loses. I don't know why. It's whether it's India, it's Russia, Ukraine. It's just loss after loss, humiliation after humiliation. The guy doesn't know how to negotiate. It's unbelievable that he's president. That's all I've got for you today. Have a good day.